If you are struggling to get results in your dating life, whether that is approaching girls, getting numbers, understanding how to date efficiently, how to text the girl, what to say to her on the approach, whatever it is you are finding pain and struggle with, here is your solution, the Diego Day Funnel. We are going to spend about 10-15 minutes explaining to you in great detail how to get girls from the top to the bottom of the funnel, where either you can casually date or hold and maintain a strong relationship with them. There are many methods and tactics in between, and we must get them through this funnel to get them to the bottom of the funnel where we want to be getting most of our results. And we're going to start right at the top of the funnel here, guys. I'm going to break it down super intricately for you to understand and hopefully be able at the end of the video to take some action from it, starting with socializing. Actually, this funnel that I created, the Diego Day Funnel, initially had 4 parts of the funnel, and then 2 different aspects to the bottom of the funnel, which is casual dating and relationships, depending on what your dating goals are specifically. So as I said, we're going to start at the top of the funnel, which usually is approaching girls. How many girls can you physically actually approach, which is what a lot of you will know me for and my ability to do. But I've extended a little open bracket at the top, and it's called socializing, right? The reason I've included socializing in there was essentially motivated off of a conversation I had with a very good friend of mine who, when connected with me and when we're out in public, we tend to be really very socially interactive with people, talk to people, communicate with people. And it sparked an idea that maybe a lot of our success from dating, from pickup, from the ability to maintain casual relationships with a lot of women at the same time, maybe possibly comes from the very, very top of the funnel, which is our ability to socialize, but also our mindset when socializing. And that's going to be the first thing I'm going to write here is mindset. The reason that mindset is so important when socializing is because you need to open yourself up to the world. And that's become something that's very unnormal right now in society, which is people walking around with headphones, people looking at their phone 24/7 and never really interacting with society. So if you are someone who struggles to socialize in general, then at the top of the funnel, we want to open up as many possible social interactions as you can on a day-to-day basis. That means if you are someone who goes to the gym every day, can you look at going to the gym and speak to the receptionist? Can you look at going to the gym without AirPods? I know that sounds ludicrous, but if that's your only time to socialize in the day, we want to optimize these moments without distractions, without things that will constrict our or restrict our social capabilities. So in the gym, on your way to work, can you start, instead of going, oh, I'm going to go out every day and socialize for 2 hours, which I'm going to get onto, that's another point that we can do if our life doesn't really invite social interactions in general, or we don't spend a lot of time in public, that's another option. But for now, can we actually look at our life and start to implement, took me a second there, start to implement a social mindset, opening ourselves up to society in terms of taking AirPods out, not just sitting on the way to work on your phone in your face. Start to actually invite society to you, to then reciprocate that and invite yourself into society socially. What does that actually look like physically? Well, it looks like walking down the street and telling everyone you see good morning. It starts with complimenting old women at the checkout section of a grocery store. It starts with very small and intricate acknowledgements of people's existence in the world, so you're not just going in a daily cycle of your bubble. Because unless that bubble is fucking amazing, which a lot of it won't be, hence why you're still watching this video right now, then we need to look to improve our bubble, and a lot of that looks like inviting social interactions. I'm going to write a little point here, which is called small compliments. Now, small compliments can be a very efficient way to link socializing to approaching. Because essentially, a lot of us know here that when we're talking about approaching, a lot of the time we're talking about approaching beautiful women. However, a lot of you struggle that. A lot of you see that as an overwhelming process. So what we're going to do here is make the link between socializing and approaching by normalizing giving people compliments, normalizing good energy, normalize being happy, normalize talking with people. And when all of these things are normalized, what actually happens is the approaching seems less far away. It's way less far-fetched because we've opened and invited society to us. And these beautiful women that seem so far out of your reach are a part of society, and a part of society that you probably and possibly want to attain. So once we've normalized socializing in general, we're now looking at approaching. When we're talking about that socializing, just to reiterate, I want to look at doing that every day. That's a daily practice that I want to be saying at least on my way to work in the gym, on my way outside of my bubble, I'm going to socialize. And if I cannot find a way to do that, for example, you wake up in the morning, you go to your private gym downstairs in your house, you work on your laptop all day in your house and you never get out of the house and your grocery shops get delivered towards you, I'd be looking at taking 30 to 60 minutes a day on a social walk where you head into a big city or somewhere with a high level of foot traffic where you can just bounce. And we have examples of what this physically looks like within our mentorship program, The Truth, which the link will be in the description to check that out. So we have examples of what that actually looks like physically, bouncing around, talking to people, socializing in general. If you want them examples, go and check that out. But for now, we're going to talk about approaching. It is what it seems, right? An important and fundamental aspect to a funnel is there's a reason it looks like this. A lot goes through the top, and gradually it becomes smaller and smaller until in the bottom, only a certain amount can actually be poured out at one time if we're looking at a liquid funnel. But if we're looking at this funnel, it's actually at every point in the funnel, things are exiting. Certain things are leaving, the volume is leaving. So the amount of people that we socialize with is just at the top. It's not actually a part of the funnel. The amount of people we approach will gradually be reduced to the amount of people we're able to close, and therefore gradually reduce the people we're able to secure and attend a first date with, and then after a second date, and then after be able to casually date or have a relationship with them. So that's what it looks like, the funnel. Every point we're releasing volume from the funnel. So we need to do two things. There's two ways to maximize the efficiency of a funnel. There's one option, which is get a fuckload of volume inside of the funnel. And there's the second option, which is ensure this funnel is very tightly and strongly built so that everything that comes in the funnel has a stronger chance of making it to the bottom, and that the amount that's coming in the funnel is larger so that at the bottom we will have larger amounts of abundance and results. Again, approaching. What does that look like physically that we want to make approaches and optimize the funnel? Make a lot of approaches. We really need to normalize getting a lot in that funnel, because without a lot in that funnel, this becomes non-existent. If you want one relationship, it might take 1,000 approaches. So we can't be looking at approaches like, I want to get 2, 3 a day, or I want to get like 1 this week. Or we need to be really optimizing the amount of approach we can get, because we need to understand that every girl we approach isn't a potential wife. She's got a boyfriend. She doesn't want to talk to us. She doesn't find us attractive. She's a bitch. I'm out of her league. She's out of my league, blah, blah, blah. That's just 10 examples. The average girl on a day-to-day basis is none of them. She just probably doesn't want to speak to you because she's a very closed-minded society, like you might be making the mistake of being in the socializing aspect. So when we're looking at approach, and we are really looking at volume, and a volume will allow two things. First of all, the experience will allow you more confidence to repeatedly do it. And second of all, the experience will allow you an understanding of how good you are at it. And alongside videos like this and mentorship by me, you will understand competence within that experience and actually be able to align it so you're getting more efficient results closing down the line and also within closing. So approaching, we're looking at really a huge thing for me. I'm going to put it in here so you guys can see. Excuse me being left-handed and annoying you all. Volume. Volume is so huge when it comes to approaches. Really allowing that idea of abundance to start at the top, so that at the bottom we can still maintain results. Because what you'll find is a lot of people aren't putting in as much abundance in the top of the funnel, and therefore nothing comes out of the bottom. By the time it's at the bottom, it's all spilt due to lack of confidence, lack of experience, lack of competence, and then just weak foundations generally being put into place. Second of all, closing. By the way, there's loads of courses again inside of our community as to how to approach efficiently, and we'll be doing private, separate videos on how to approach efficiently. But for now, we're just explaining how the funnel operates. Essentially, the volume of people you approach will correlate directly to the amount of people you're able to close. Yes, there is a technique to closing. Closing is a lot about how efficient you are with it, how you understand vocabulary, communication, etc., etc. But essentially, we're looking at approaching so that once we approach and talk to the amount of people, once she lets us in that interaction, there should be another little subsection here called conversation. Because when you approach someone, she can invite conversation, but she might not necessarily be interested. So We want to approach. It might be an immediate rejection one way, or a conversation the other way. And then off of that conversation, we want to look to essentially close at the end of it. And the important aspects, really important aspects to know with closing, one point which I always make, which is like my number one rule for a close, is make it make sense. Make it make sense. The reason why you have to look at my terrible handwriting of make it make sense, again, perks of being left-handed and writing on a whiteboard, the reason why you need to make it make sense is because females do not like decisions. And a lot of people, if anyone doesn't know what closing is, by the way, it's essentially like attaining the number or the Instagram or whatever you qualify as success from the interaction. So it might be a compliment, it might be a smile, whatever you qualify as success for that. And making it make sense is an integral part of it, because women do not like to feel pressurized into making a decision, even if they like you, even if they're into you, even if they love the interaction, even if they feel super comfortable. Women just don't like being pressurized in situations. Now, this is not an all or nothing rule. You might have a woman where you ask her, can I have your Instagram, please? And she says, yes. I've done it many times. A lot of men make the mistake of doing it. But we want to optimize our chances of getting them down the funnel. And to optimize the chances, we want to make it make sense. What do I mean by that? I'll give you an example. If I say to a girl, during the conversation, during the interaction, I find out that she likes coffee, I'm going to reply to that. Hey, do you like coffee? You like a coffee drinker? Brilliant. She says yes. Awesome. You know what's so funny? I've just come from now the best coffee shop in the whole of Florida. I'm not from Florida, I'm just using an example. The best coffee shop in the whole of Florida, and no one knows about it. No one knows about it. It's so quiet, and not only is it the best coffee I've tasted, it's such a nice place. Anyway, what were we saying? Blah, 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 blah. Then we're looking at the end of the interaction. She's probably going to reply something like, "Oh, sounds good. I should check it out one time." Yeah. I'll send you the name of it at the end. Or check it out. At the end of the interaction, we're looking at closing by going, "Well, by the way, that coffee shop was amazing, and I know you like coffee, and I really like you. Got a great vibe. So, I'm gonna have to text you the location and the time to meet me there, where I can show you this coffee shop." She's gonna be like, "Yeah, that sounds great. Well, I need your number if I'm gonna text you." Gives you the phone. You see how I didn't ask? I made it make sense. I made a cycle of, we're going to get coffee. I'm verbally expressing a future tense of us together, which is a whole nother psychological tactic that's great. Once we've done that, she's agreed to have coffee with me. She's agreed to a time and a date that I'm going to give her. She's agreed to me texting her a time and a date. So the number's obvious. Now, regardless of whether she wasn't 100% sure, she was 100% sure, she just didn't feel comfortable, she didn't want to make a decision, I'm getting the number now because I've made it make sense. I've made her agree to every part of the process. It's like getting someone to make an agreement and a promise with you, and you're like, okay, sign the contract. Yeah, sure. I don't even need to read it. So that's essentially what we're doing. We're making it make sense via them methods and techniques. That's the only point I'm going to give on a close. It's a very, very important part of it. A lot of guys, don't rush it. Don't rush. Build rapport. I see loads of guys going in. Hey, you're super cute. Can I get your number, please? Works sometimes, very few. If we want to maximize our chances of getting them down the funnel, you cannot rush. You want to build as much rapport in a small space of time with high amounts of energy to attain the close, to attain the number, to attain the Instagram, whatever it is you want. Then getting them to the first date. What a lot of guys don't understand is how to text a girl, how to communicate a girl. And I see one of the biggest problems is guys thinking like, oh, I've got it in the bag, the date's already set up. Girls have 100 guys in their phone trying to invite them to a date. So what makes you think you are so fucking different that you're gonna, stand out and get on a first date when all these other guys are? Well, you're gonna do one thing that these other guys aren't doing, and you're gonna be patient, and you're gonna be maintain a high value frame for a man. That means not texting her straight away. That means not double texting her. That means not over texting her. I also want you to use a little trick I use, which is envision her inbox. Even go to message her. Envision what you're gonna message her automatically, like all the rest of the simpy guys do. Then envision her inbox. What does her inbox look like? What do I think guys are messaging her? Then you want to do two things on the text. You want to keep them brief and efficient and effective. You want to set up the date as quick as possible, but you want to build and utilize some rapport from the initial interaction, the initial conversation. It could be about that coffee shop that we're talking about, or it could be about something else you had a giggle about, something that she's interested in and she likes, and you're going to utilize that and bring it into the text organically. What does this do? It allows her to transfer that energy that she remembered that she's held onto with you because it was such a high energy interaction, transfer it to the conversation where she then feels in that motion again to align that date with you. And again, we don't want to spend too much time texting because you don't have the presence to actually portray the energy that we want. So we want to keep it short, sharp, and efficient. Another mistake guys make is telling her like, let's do tomorrow night, or let's do, no, you have a busy schedule. You need to check your schedule. You need to make time for her in this busy schedule. So I'd say looking at like 2-3 days in advance to be planning a date. What that day looks like to you, I'm not gonna go through in this video. I think coffee is always a good idea, especially where I've given you the coffee trick. Part of that coffee trick psychologically works because the girl thinks that you're taking her to a super special place that no one knows about, but really it's just coffee and you'll actually have no idea about this special place. You're just gonna find a quiet, nice coffee shop that's not a Starbucks, take her there, and you're gonna make her believe that that's the best coffee shop. Why? Because you're gonna be there and you're gonna be the best date she's ever fucking had because you're gonna understand this funnel incredibly well. And if you wanna learn more, you're gonna get inside my mentorship program. Second date. No, first date. Yeah, we talked about the first date. No, we talked about closing. First date, we're on first date. So once we're able to maintain them texts and get an efficient first date, we need to learn how to be an efficient dater. It's very important. I'm gonna come over to this side just so we've got some space. Hopefully you can see. If I cannot spell efficient data. Guys, I don't even know why I'm writing because you can't, Jesus Christ. You can tell I'm not fucking Shakespeare, and that's why I hit on girls for a living. An efficient data. Becoming an efficient data is a lot about practicing, and it's a lot about the lack of necessity. So the more abundance you create, the more natural lack of necessity you'll need. When you need and you're very demanding from a girl, and you want her time and you want her attention, and her attention is like amazing for you. And when she's sitting on the date and she's looking at you, you feel amazing. You're like, wow, she loves me. She's on the date with me. She's looking at me. She said yes to a date with me. I'm amazing. That mindset will get you caught up to be a very inefficient dater and also push girls away from you. The abundance mindset is basically letting girls know via your energy and aura and verbal context that she's not 1 in a million for being on a date with you. You date a lot of girls, you date a lot of women, you have an active dating life. Now don't go and sit with girls and talk to them about other girls. She just needs to understand by your aura that you are not reliant. You are not craving like validation from her in the date to almost be like, oh, am I gonna get a second date? Like, is this a win? Is this the one? You need to very much be in the mindset, like we talked on the first point of socializing. You need to be in the mindset of, I have 2-3 more dates this week. Even if you don't, put yourself in this mindset. I have 2-3 dates this week with equally beautiful girls. I approach a shit ton of girls. I'm going to approach a shit ton more. I'm going to get that influx into the funnel. And I'm not reliant on your gratification, your validation. Completely mixing up vocabulary there. I'm not reliant on your validation nor your approval, but I'm still enjoying in the present. I'm still enjoying this date in the present, enjoying my time with you, etc., etc. So to become an efficient dater, we need to attain that mindset. And then from there, we're looking at what are the efficient mechanisms of moves we need to do. First and foremost, I'm looking at coffee. I'm looking at quick. I don't want to be over expending on my first date, both financially and with my time, but I still want to be equally making her feel special. So coffee's a great one, or some kind of walk or a picnic or something out of the ordinary. It can be a lunch or a dinner or a drink, but I'm just looking at being slightly authentic and being efficient with the date. So I'm looking at a date that's not going to take 2 hours. Dinner already is like pushing the boundaries of how long it's going to take. So yeah, just coffee for me works great. If I was a drinker, I'm not a drinker personally, I might take her to a bar, depending on the mood I want to set. But I want to, in an environment where I can talk to her efficiently, create a great energy and a great vibe, and have her see that I'm him, essentially. Again, we're kind of just running through the funnel here, so I'm not going to break down everything completely. I'm going to give you a couple of big tips for each one, and then just really explain to you how the funnel fucking works and why we need to get a shit ton of people to socialize with us and then to approach initially. We're then getting them to the second date, right? From the first date, there will be less girls that come to a second date with us naturally. If you're me, you've never been rejected for a second date in your life because I'm fucking amazing and I know how to communicate and I know how to non-aggressively and maliciously manipulate. I had to think about saying that, so I didn't put anything crazy in the internet. If you understand that, you understand that. If you don't, you've probably taken a perception in the wrong manner. On the second day, To get on the first date, you need experience of dating. You need experience to come across and portray yourself as a high value man with that abundant mindset. And then once we get them onto the second date, essentially, as long as you maintain emotional control, stoicism, and hold a strong masculine frame, and you're also providing and proving to be a fun and enjoyable person to be around, these steps should be no problem. You just need to maintain what you've been doing and essentially not allow her to get bored via two things. Via accessibility, don't allow her to have too much access to you in your life. Remain somewhat mysterious to maintain the process. And then once you have that kind of connection, once you have that bond and foundation set, that's when you could start letting go of the mystery, but not quickly. Definitely that process should take a long time to do. I'm sweating my tits off here. So after the second date, we have a decision to make. Do I qualify this girl as a casual relationship or a casual date? Are my intentions sexual or casual or relaxed? Or do I see her as wife material? Do I see her as someone who has no male friends? She's mature. She's not going to be fucking arguing with me all the time. She's agreeable. She's nice. She's kind. She takes care of me, etc., etc. And once we kind of categorize them things, we want to look at two things in the bottom section. I'm just going to end this video by kind of separating the way we're going to handle these two things. First, we're going to talk about casual dating. Something very important for casual dating is maintain masculine frame. And the reason I say that for casual dating, one night stands, masculine frame isn't so important. You need to hold it to attract. But once you're with her, you can just focus on like fun, and getting her into your bed. But the issue is that like if she's not in your bed first night or second night, she's probably going to stop being interested in you because you've already chased her somewhat to some amount. So maintain, I'm going to put MF, masculine frame, is super important for casual dating if you want to prolong the period that you're casually dating. For me, my absolute perfect time range to date people is have like 3 or 4 beautiful girls wherever I am on some form of rotation, where, for me, that's called casual dating. Throughout my years and years of dating many, many women, that's my favorite. It's the most efficient for me. It's the most rewarding, and it's the least amount of hassle as well. So maintain, but you have to be a very, very high value man to maintain that existence of casual dating. If not, you're probably looking at like dating girls for like 2 to 3 to 4 week period, and then they're going to get bored and go away because you don't have the facilities to back it up. But we're building it slowly by slowly. So the second thing is fun. If you're casually dating with a girl, you need to maintain it, high energy and fun and positive vibes. If she feels like you're dragging down her energy, if she feels like you're not providing any form of happiness or fun to her life, she's probably going to duck out. So the combination of these two, the reason I put both of them and the reason I made sure I put masculine frame is because the combination of these two is sometimes a bit difficult for people to understand the concept of. When people go for fun, they're like, woo, feminine, let's have fun, and they lose their morals, they lose their integrity, they lose their masculine frame. So there is a strong balance to get right between these two, and it's not the easiest thing to compose. It takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of getting through the funnel. But that's what we're doing here. This whole funnel is about creating abundance, essentially, and getting people from the top to the bottom. And then in a relationship, the number one thing you want to do over everything is never, ever break your masculine frame. Never, I'm just going to put, never break. This is fucking integral. Never break masculine frame. When you're building the foundations to a relationship off the back of all of this funnel, she's going to pick up on very important things. And one of the biggest mistakes that I want to share with you guys now, that I see guys make in dating, in relationships, like when their goal is a relationship, is they lose their composure within the first month because she's a beautiful girl and they're just excited, and it's like almost a vacation, like a holiday. What's the holiday romance called? Whatever, like a holiday romance. I thought it was a nickname for it. It's essentially like a holiday romance in a real life situation where you want to spend loads of time with her because you really like her. It's that buzzy phase of it. And then that slowly fizzles out and it becomes like more real life. And then you realize, like, well, you tried to fuck her on the first day and she fucked you. And now a month after, you don't like that about her. You gave her loads of time and attention. So now she's used to loads of time and attention. You didn't ask for any value of her. You just thought that her being beautiful was enough value. And therefore now you're assessing if she actually holds value and a place in your life. But she's in the mindset of, well, he likes me for what I am. He pays for everything. He does everything for me. And I just sit here and look pretty. So that was my envisionment of the relationship for the next 10 years. And your envisionment of the relationship was like, she's going to be all over me, give her loads of time and attention. She's going to be fun. But what a lot of men do is, because she's so beautiful, we just get deluded and we just fall in love. And then she pulls back on that level of accessibility because she has a life and, you know, the holiday romance is over. But she still expects them things from you because you've essentially shown her with your assertiveness, dominance, and leadership, this is how the relationship's going to look like. She's now got used to that. She expects that. And as soon as you don't give that to her, even if you're still giving her a lot, it's less than what she signed up for. It's less than what she invested into you initially. So that's one of the biggest problems in relationships. And the way to essentially maintain that or not have that dilemma is to never break your masculine frame. That means in the early stages of dating, maintaining a high level of stoicism, not over-investing into her, not becoming over-accessible, making sure the important fundamental parts or aspects that you want in a female into your life is expressed both verbally and physically. And one thing that's incredibly important is acting by example and leading by example, because what guys will do is they'll tell a girl, I work super hard and therefore I expect you to cook for me and clean for me. And then in the first month, because it's just fun, they're not working super hard. They're spending loads of time with her. They're playing video games with her. They're going on holidays with her, this. And then the girl's like, well, you don't work that hard. You say you work hard, but you don't work that hard. So why am I taking care of you? Why am I looking after you? Then when you go back to actually locking in and working hard, she doesn't see that version of you. So she's not willing to do them things. Even though you tell her, babe, I'm working, I need to cook for me. She might do it, but she'll end up repulsing you for that. When you tell a girl what to do for you, if the process continues at a long amount of time, she'll end up repulsing you for them things. She'll end up hating you for them things, and it will boil up at some point and she'll just fucking leave you. The other option is if you show her and lead her by example, by your actions, she'll do two things. She'll react to you in a positive manner and start to balance what you're doing out, which is exactly what we want. And if she doesn't do this, then you need to leave her. If she doesn't react to the good, healthy, positive things you are doing, by the way, she needs to be somewhat criteriaed before this to being a nice person, a kind person, and someone who's trying to like look in the right direction of life. But as a man, we should be assertively guiding and leading women into our empire. And therefore, if she is being receptive of your actions and slowly but surely making progress into combining her life with yours and making her life suit yours to the maximum optimization of your life and your empire that you're building for her and the family, if you can do all of that efficiently, then it's a very good sign. But if you're having to verbally express constantly and she's not doing anything, she's not making any changes, or if she is, she's putting up a fight about it and not being agreeable, it probably means there is a lack of respect in the relationship, and that is never a good way to start where we want to end up, which is marriage, kids, and all the complicated stuff before, you know, we're dealing with these petty arguments. This is the Diego Day funnel. Most of you right now, I think, will be struggling at stage 1 or 2, because I'd say like after stage 3, becoming a good closer and down, you're already looking at 1% of guys. Already 80% of guys have never approached a girl in their life. So even here, even here, we're looking at 20% of people. Here, you're looking at 1%. People that are great, like daters, first date, you're looking at, I'd probably say you can look at like a similar 1%, then second daters consistently 0.5%. Casual dating, you're already looking at 0.001% efficiently. And then men that hold a strong masculine frame in a relationship with women they actually want to date, again, you're looking at a very small percentage of males. I want you to start opening up that social situation where you're probably looking at like 30% of people. I want you to join the 30% of people and become incredibly socially expressive and start to reap the rewards, therefore and thereafter, within the funnel. I know this was a lot of information to take in. I hope it all made sense to you. Again, if you're looking for the breakdown of each one, but not only the breakdown, but to be personally mentored on how to actually achieve these things and how that looks like for you in your life, then you need to sign up to the link in the description. It's a fucking tiny price of money. I know guys who spend this amount of money on first dates and they don't even know what they're doing. I know guys who spend this money on drinks in the pub on a weekend, which doesn't add any benefit to your life. So it's a super cheap offer, an opportunity for you guys to have direct access to me and work with me to achieve the results and your goals that you need within your dating life, whether that's socializing more, approaching more, closing more, or just becoming a great fucking seductor and casual dater, then we need to get you locked in now and we need to sort that out. For now, if you want more of these videos or whatever, if you want to lock into more of these videos, make sure you subscribe and turn the post notifications on, because we will be posting more of these. However, I know how the algorithm works these days and it doesn't push these kind of videos out so much because not only does it not want you to have this information, but also it's not on the entertainment factor, it's on the education factor, which is compressing ever so slightly day by day. So some people will take action, some people won't. Decide who you want to be.